When did you first start playing guitar?
When I was 12. The guitar, I'm not in love with the guitar. I never have been. When I said I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment, I always wanted drums. I was more into the singers. I was more into the drummers. The guitar came by accident because you can turn off an amplifier. When we lived in that apartment, I was like, drums. When we move one day and I get my own room, because me and my parents slept in that same room for like 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I never had my own room until I was like 12 years old. So we moved to Glendale and I had my own room. And all right, 12th birthday, going to the music store, gonna get my drum set. Always wanted it. That's always what I dreamt of doing. So my parents kind of had a talk amongst each other and said, you can't really turn off the drums. And so they got me an amp about this big. It was a Gorilla amp. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
And like a guitar was an Arbor. I don't even think that company is around anymore. And I still wanted drums after that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The guitar was there. The amp was there. It was in my room. And I just started fiddling with it. And I started spending more time with it. And the next thing you know, I'm a guitar player. Never got the drums. So I'm happy it worked out that way, but I've just never been the guy that there's some guys that are just in love with the guitar and that's their thing. That's what they do. For me, it's a tool to write songs. I never wanted to be some technical guitar virtuoso or anything, but I was really into composing and writing my own stuff. And I had these friends like in high school. I never really hung out with too many musicians. My friends were all we were like trouble. We were like the guys who would be fighting at school. And, we weren't a gang, but it was somewhat gang-like, you could say, because we fought a lot. But it was these kind of guys. They weren't metal guys. They weren't artsy guys. They weren't, and so I would write these songs that were kind of ballady, folky, English songs, I don't really write in Armenian. I would be the guy that took his acoustic to the party and, I'd play a little cover here and there, but I would also play my own stuff. And when I would play my own stuff, I realized like it would really touch one of my friends and you'd see the guy walk out and he'd be crying.
Even then?
Yeah. I was maybe 14, 15 years old. And that's when I realized something where it was like I had this thing that I can touch people with these songs or whatever.
At that time, would it have been guitar and vocals?
Yeah, it's always guitar vocals for me.
Yeah.
When I write, I always write guitar and vocals.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, I don't write riffs.
Yeah.
A lot of guys write riffs.
You write songs.
I want that riff to turn into a song.
Yeah.
If it's just a riff, I'm not impressed. I could write plenty of riffs. Mm-hmm. I'm more impressed with myself and happy when I've written a song, a full song, verse, chorus. I know how it's going to move. If I don't have the lyrics, I know how the vocals are going to move and the melody is going to go. And when I present a song to the band, or whether it's System or when I do Scars, it's always me with a guitar kind of like this and, just showing the band the song, the whole song, not just like I got this part.
And it's always been that way.
Yeah.
That you pretty much write a song top to bottom and think of it as a composition.
Yeah.
Not a series of parts.
I wouldn't bring it in if it wasn't like I usually feel like, okay, the song is ready to show when I have that.
Yeah.
I've never really been like, oh, I got this one riff, but I don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
There's times where I'll have a composition and I'll say, I have an idea of how the vocals should move, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I'm usually pretty certain of how, the tempo and the music and how I want this part to be moving, how I want that part to be moving. It's all going on in my head while I'm writing it.
The chords and the melodies come at the same time?
Sometimes.
Typically.
There's no right way or wrong way. What happens is I'll be sitting and playing the guitar and I'll come up with something. Maybe I'll come up with a riff, maybe the riff and something else. And I just record it and I leave it. And then the next time I play, I always go through my ideas and I play with them almost like a toy. Sometimes a song will come out right away, but sometimes it takes a long time for me to piece together a song, you know?
Give me an example of, in terms of it happening quickly, how long would it be quickly, and how long would it be if it took a long time?
Like a song like BYOB probably took a long time. I wrote the middle part first.
What's the middle part?
The blast up, it's party time. We don't live in a fascist nation. That by itself was like this, why don't presidents fight the war? Why they always send for? Why don't presidents fight the war? That was just kind of, it was like this punk song, kind of punky type of song that I wrote. But then time passed and I wrote and I had also, and that was totally because I was listening to Funkadelic at the time.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's not like I'm trying to mix this and it just kind of like one night I was playing and that's what I'm saying. Like maybe I don't have that part yet, maybe.
Yeah.
So you know, when I pick up the guitar for that week, I'm just playing my, you know. And goes, you know.
And then just seeing what it leads into.
But I don't force it.
Yeah.
And at some point, it led into that. I can't tell you exactly when, but it led into. And it wasn't on purpose, and it wasn't because, oh, I'm listening to Funkadelic and I want to do a Funkadelic thing. It just kind of came out that way. And I feel like you have to have the patience to let that happen. You know?
Yeah, it takes as long as it takes.
Some people, look, everyone's got their way, but I don't write my songs in front of a computer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't record them right away. I play them. I have a list of songs that nobody's ever heard, and every time I pick up the guitar, I play through all of them. And each one of them, some of them might be more finished than the others, but each one of them has this part that I'm like, you know, that can be better. That can be better. But I play with it like you play with a toy. You shape it, you try, doesn't work, you know, until something comes along and you feel confident. And that's kind of how the long process isn't, where you know, need patience.
Did you say you play every day?
No.
How often do you play?
When I want.
Yeah, but how often do you want to?
Sometimes a month will go by that I don't play, and sometimes I play for that whole week, and sometimes, I mean, when I was growing up, I played every day.
Yeah.
But.
And how many hours a day would you play?
Back in those days?
Yeah.
The whole day would pass by like 6, 7, 8. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Would you consider it practicing, or it was something else?
I never practice.
I just play. Would you play 2 other things, or no? You play along with records? No.
No.
Just play by yourself looking for songs.
Just enjoying my shit that I've written. And somewhere down the line, it gets better. The last thing that comes to my mind whenever I write something is, I can't wait for everyone to hear this.
You're doing it for yourself in that moment.
Just like my dad. My dad paints paintings. He doesn't do exhibits or anything. He does it because he does it. That's like, he doesn't know any other way to live.
That's what he does.
He doesn't even sign them. And it's kind of, for me, releasing it is kind of weird. Like, because I never really listened to those songs again.
Yeah.
I rarely put on Toxicity. I rarely put on System record, Scars record, anything I made. Once I put it out, it's like almost like bye-bye.
Yeah, but even a song from childhood, if you haven't released it, you might still play it.
Yes.
Because it's still yours.
Yeah.
Once you put it out, it's not
and
really,
I enjoy it.
It becomes everybody's.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. I don't know any other way to be. Like, I would be doing this if I was not the guy from System of a Down. I would still be doing this.
Yeah.
And it's for me.
Yeah.
It's not even an approach. Like, it's just the way it is. That's the way I know. That's the way I've watched my dad. That's the way I've seen art. You do it because you enjoy it. You love it. It's an itch, and you want to impress yourself.
How is it different playing by yourself versus playing with a band?
I mean, with a band, you're rehearsing to play a song. Playing by myself's more intimate. I don't really play in front of people anymore.
By yourself, you mean?
Yeah. Like, remember I said I used to take my guitar to...
Yeah.
For some reason, once the band got kind of big, something changed in me. Every time I picked up a guitar in front of people, it became this, like, some kind of big deal or something to them.
You think people had expectations or something?
I don't know, but I kind of don't, like, I wait for my girl to go to bed. Like, she rarely ever sees me play the guitar. It's always when I'm alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can entertain yourself alone for a long time doing it?
Yeah.
Hours and hours.
Yeah, and not just guitar, man. Like I said, it's not like I'm not in love with this. I'm in love with making sounds, synthesizers,
Making stuff.
Anything that feels right to me at that moment. That I have a craving, and my cravings change. Sometimes my craving is the guitar. Sometimes I only want to play in clean. Sometimes I don't want to plug it in. I just want to play it like that. And things change when you don't plug it in and write something, as opposed to put some distortion on that app and write something.
You think it has something to do with what you're hearing or how it feels on your fingers?
I think how it feels. And hearing, sure. I mean, you're hearing it, but you put an effect on it, makes you play a different something. Well, not putting anything is an effect all its own as well. So
most of your songs are straightforward guitar plugged into the amp.
Not too much.
Not a lot of tricks.
But I don't count out that maybe I may do some tricks somewhere now.
You're not against it.
Yeah.
But just most of your
Just
songs
hasn't happened that way.
hasn't happened that way. Yeah.